Welcome in, everybody. Hi, Skrilla. Hi, Finja. Hi, Eric. Welcome in, guys. Aw, happy 1 year, Lemons. Love you. I bet it has, Robin. Welcome in, everybody. If you guys could do me a big favor and hit that share arrow and the repost button and share it to your stories and with your friends, that'd be great. Happy Thursday. Hello, James. Hello, Michelle. Hi, Cassie. Welcome in, everybody. You guys can write your story requests in all capital letters in the chat, and then I'll write them down and we will vote. Welcome to the porch. Yes, hello, KB. It is peaceful. My name's Devin, and I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and stop doom scrolling and help you fall asleep better, kind of reset your nervous system. Welcome in. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars. Welcome to the porch. Oh, you need a hug, Skrilla. So do I. So do I. Hello, just saying opinion. Oh, Scarlett, did you really? Hi, Tina. Tell your son I said hi, James. Hi, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Monique. How you doing? Hello, you can do it. Welcome in. How's Houston, Texas tonight? Welcome in, everybody. Feel free to write your story requests in all capital letters in the chat. I'll write them down and we can vote. Also, if you guys could do me a big favor, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little yellow circle with two arrows chasing each other that says repost. That puts the live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing to your friends helps too. Hello, Bruce from Michigan. Welcome in. All right, welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin. Oh, thank you, Cassie. And this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Thank you, JT. I'm glad you found us too. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I also have all of the links in my bio. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. I'm going to set up the first poll and I'll be right back. Happy Thursday. Oh my God, that's so cute. Thanks, Cassie. That was so cute. That's a cute YT gift. That's adorable. Oh, hi, Tersha. How's South Africa today? Gemini, thank you for the earthling hand hearts. Yes, you too, Skrilla. Oh my God, that's so cute. Thanks, James. He's so cute. Star, it's under my gift goal, and it's also under, like, I don't know, exclusives or something like that. The Songbird's giving it to me. Oh, I think you have to have your HeartMe up to date to send that. I think your HeartMe has to be, I think your HeartMe just has to be up to date. It's not even showing me your HeartMe. That's so weird. Maybe swipe out and come back in. Thank you, Skrilla. Look how cute he is. All right, you guys, the first poll is ready. Thank you, Just Saying Opinion. That's so cute. All right, the first poll is ready. We have The Fairy Trees, which is the new story of the week. We have The Door in the Water. We have The Alabama Mud People. We have The Names in the Logbook. And we have The Melonheads. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner. You can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Thank you, Robin. That's so cute. Hi, Crystal. And the winner is my new favorite story, The Fairy Trees. Robin, thank you for the star map of Polaris. Hi, Holly. What's up? You coming back home? Oh my God, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Holly. I'm sorry you have to be overseas for your birthday. Everybody wish Holly a happy birthday. She is overseas currently for her birthday. We love you. Oh my God, it's Deborah's birthday too. Holy, oh my gosh, we got lots of Porch Pals celebrating tonight. Happy birthday, Deborah and Holly. And I'll be right back with the tale of the fairy trees. Thank you, Desiree, for the hanging lights. I love those Edison lights. Hi, Brian. How you doing? Hi, Ghostwriter House. How's Bry Guy? Hi, Brian. How's it going? Guys, if you aren't following Ghostwriter House, I highly recommend it. His name is Brian. He's a real funny guy. And we both grew up part of our life in Ohio. And I may or may not have broken his heart in middle school at a roller skating party, where it proceeded to spiral into an unfortunate series of events that he blamed on me for a very long time. But now we're friends because we just happened to find each other on TikTok and realized we were both doing the live thing. And we were like, what? Holly, thank you. I love those jellyfish so much. So he likes to revisit the story and tell it on his live every time I come in. So if you guys would like to hear all about how much of a biatch I was in middle school, you can follow him. Plus, if you don't want to hear that and you want to check out the coolest shit ever, he lives in a craftsman style bungalow in Texas that's haunted. And it's haunted by cool ghosts that he's friends with, and he knows their names. And his wife is a decorating goddess. And it's the most beautifully decorated house I've seen, with all of my favorite colors. And they have 2 cats. 2 cats in the yard. It's like a Crosby, Stills and Nash song up in that bitch. So, check out Brian. You won't regret it. Wait, where'd he go? Brian, can you leave a comment? Can you leave a comment? Oh, he said happy birthday, Deborah. I can pin him there. I can pin him right there. Feel free to follow him. He's very silly. Very funny. I laugh a minute. And sometimes for Halloween, he dresses up like an Oompa Loompa and takes off his glasses because it's not part of the costume, and then proceeds to not be able to see anything the entire night because he had to stay in character after he had 5 IPAs. Right, Bri? All right, guys, I'll be right back with fairy trees. I know, Priscilla. I know. That's how you found me. Justin, is that a joke? Is that a joke, or is that a Canadian? Are you being serious? I can't ever tell. Hi, James. Oh, that makes sense then, Justin. But like, you're always joking, so I can't tell. Hi, Melv. Hi, Jade. Hi, Miss Queen Eats. Hi, Alina. Hi, Allison. Holly, thanks again for the jellyfish. That was so cool. Hi, Melf. I used to, but nobody ever came. So I stopped streaming over there. But I am still on YT and TikTok. How you doing? I streamed over there for a couple months and literally no one came. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that so much. Maybe I should stream over there again. The only person in there was my moderator. Raven, thank you for the alien. And Skrilla, thanks for the talking heartbeat. All right, guys, sit back and relax. I'll be right back with the tale of fairy trees. Oh, thanks, Jade. Oh, yeah, and Lady Rose. Exactly. Lady Rose was over there. Yeah, Lady Rose actually preferred it over there. I forgot about that. You're right, girl. Sorry. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the fairy trees. There are some places in the world where people will move mountains to build a road. And then there are places where people will move a road to avoid a single tree. Not because of engineering, not because of convenience, but because of something older. Something whispered about for centuries. Something living between folklore and fear. The belief that some trees are not just trees. They are homes, doorways. I love that, Robin. Places where the unseen world touches our own. For centuries across the forests and fields of Ireland, Scotland, England, and even Appalachia, people have believed that some trees are not simply trees. They are something more. They are places where the human world touches something unseen. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Jules. And they are known as fairy trees. And some of these trees are believed to be even more mysterious. And those are referred to as portal trees. Living doorways that connect our world to hidden realms beyond our own. Today, many people pass these trees without a second thought. They see twisted branches, ancient trunks, and strange shapes created by centuries of wind and weather. But for generations before us, those same trees were treated with reverence, respect, and sometimes even fear. Thank you, Vinny. Because according to old folklore, these trees belonged to beings that lived just beyond human sight. The story of fairy trees began centuries ago at a time when people lived much closer to the natural world than we do today. They believed that the world was filled with unseen forces, that the rivers had spirits, mountains had personalities, and storms had moods. Certain places were sacred, and forests were not simply collections of trees. They were places where the boundary between the known and the unknown became thin. Across Ireland and Scotland, people spoke of a hidden realm that existed alongside our own. A mysterious world inhabited by beings often called the Fair Folk, or the Fae. But these were not the tiny, cheerful fairies of modern children's stories. The Fae of ancient tradition are powerful elemental entities. And the fair folk are called fair for a reason. They were viewed as the keepers of natural balance, the primordial form of justice. And they became angered when humans disrespected the natural world. And among the places where these beings were believed to gather were certain unusual trees. Sometimes it would be hundreds of years old, with branches twisted into strange shapes. And people wondered why. Why had this one tree survived when everything around it had changed? Why did storms not destroy it? Why did generations of people continue to leave it standing? The answer, according to folklore, was that the tree was protected. It was a home, a meeting place, a doorway. It belonged to the fairies. Farmers would carefully plow around these trees rather than cut them down. Roads have been redirected to avoid them. And according to folklore, certain trees would act as doorways between the worlds. Hollow trees, twisted trees, trees with what appeared to have a doorway. Stories developed about people who entered these strange openings and experienced impossible things. Stories of people who disappeared for what seemed like only minutes, only to discover that hours, days, or even years had passed. The idea of lost time is one of the most common themes in fairy folklore. The belief was that the fairy realm didn't follow the same rules as our world and that time just behaves differently there. But perhaps one of the most fascinating traditions surrounding portal trees was their connection to healing. For centuries, people across parts of Britain, Europe, and Appalachia believed that certain trees had the power to remove illness. One old practice involved passing a sick child through an opening or a split in the tree. Thank you, Abigail. Thank you, Drew. The belief was that the sickness would be left behind inside the tree, while the child would emerge healed. The tree became a bridge between sickness and health, between the old ways and the new. Thank you, Throttle. Of all the warnings surrounding fairy trees, one became the most well-known. Never cut one down. Thank you, Denise. Respect the trees. Respect the land. Respect the mysteries you do not understand. But fairy trees are not just a tradition from the distant past. They still exist today. Travel through parts of Ireland, Scotland, and Appalachia, and you will still find trees, decorated with ribbons, coins, flowers, and small offerings. People still visit them. Some leave wishes, some leave gifts. Some simply stand beneath their branches and appreciate the history vibrating around them. A reminder that the world is older and stranger than we often remember. When you first hear about fairy trees, it's easy to assume they are just stories people tell children. Tiny creatures hiding beneath roots in magical forests. Old legends from a world that no longer exists. But the more you look into it, the more you realize people didn't just tell stories about these trees. They changed their lives because of them. Thank you, Star. Thank you, Tanya. Across Ireland and Scotland, certain lone hawthorn trees became surrounded by stories of the fair folk, and not the cute, harmless creatures. The older legends described something much more complicated. The fairies are powerful, capable of blessing a person or ruining their life. They were not creatures you invited in. They were beings you respected. And above all else, you did not disturb their homes. Now that belief became so deeply rooted that even today, farmers avoid cutting certain trees, even when the tree stands alone in the middle of valuable farmland. They will just plow around them. They will leave these trees untouched for generations. Because removing one was believed to invite disaster. A sick child, a failed harvest, a streak of terrible luck. But what fascinated me the most wasn't just the older stories, it was what happened when our modern world collided with them. Because even today, roads are built around these special trees. Construction projects are rerouted, machines are stopped, and plans are redesigned. All because someone looked at a single tree and decided, no, we're not cutting that one down. Perhaps the mystery of fairy trees was never only about whether supernatural beings truly live among their branches. Perhaps the deeper mystery is why humans across so many cultures for centuries have looked at certain trees and felt that they were special. Maybe it's because ancient trees are already something magical. They can stand for hundreds of years, survive storms that destroy everything around them. They grow from a tiny seed into something that outlives countless generations. They witness births, deaths, war, celebrations, and forgotten moments in history. A tree can remember a world that no human alive today has ever seen. And trees are in fact vital to the survival of the human race. Maybe that's why in ancient times they were revered. And maybe that is why people believe some trees are doorways. Because standing beneath the branches of an ancient tree, feeling the vibration of the earth and the breeze on your skin, it's easy to imagine that there is more to this world than we can see with our eyes. That somewhere beyond the roots and leaves, hidden just beyond the edge of human understanding, there may still be places where the old stories are waiting. Places where the boundary between the worlds grows thin. And perhaps, somewhere deep in the woods near you, there are still trees that are not just trees. Reminders that the world still holds mysteries we have yet to uncover. And that's the tale of the fairy trees. Thank you guys. It's my new favorite story too. As you guys can tell, this is one that is very relevant to me in my life and very dear to my heart. So I really like this one a lot. I'm glad you guys do too. Plus, who was here for the first time I ever read it live and Mother Nature showed up to listen? And it was the craziest shit ever. It was the coolest moment. It was the coolest moment. You were here, Jim. Yeah, on Monday, if you were here for the first read, it was wild. It was amazing. It was perfect. Yeah, Mother Nature was like, "Oh shit, let's listen." All the fae came to listen. Thank you, Donna. Hello, welcome to the porch, Donna. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. And I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore, and you'll find me. I also have all the links in my bio, and then I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. live to read them to you. So grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. And if you are new, they aren't scary, they're just spooky, and some are unexplained, like the fairy one I just read. They're not even always spooky. Sometimes they're just unexplained. So welcome in. Happy Thursday. I'll be right back with the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And while I am setting up the poll, if you guys could do me a big favor, if you could hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts the live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. MD Farman, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And I'll be right back with the next poll for us to vote. Welcome to the porch. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. Oh, you're watching in Singapore? Welcome in. I'm so happy to have you here. And yes, good morning to you in Singapore. Thanks for being here. All right, you guys, we have the next poll ready. We have Hug and Molly, Paint Blue, the Alabama Mud People, the Fresno Nightcrawlers, and the Last American Vampire. Also, thank you, Raven. And thank you, Raven Moon. And thanks, Robin. And thank you, Priscilla. And Miss Alina. All right, you guys, you can vote in the top left-hand corner. There is a blue box that you can vote 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Thanks, Jade. Who's it gonna be? Hug and Molly, Paint Blue, Alabama Mud People, Fresno Nightcrawlers, or The Last American Vampire? Hi, Miss Queen Eats. How you doing? Oh my God, Jasmine, I'm so glad you're okay. Oh my God. I'm so glad you're okay, and thank you for letting us know. An EF3 is no laughing matter. That's a serious tornado. Hi, Goat Man. I know, Archangelo, so did Kim. No, not at all, Thela. You've only missed one. You're here. Good timing. Aw, yay, Simone. I'm so glad. Yay. Thank you, Songbird. Thank you so much. You're so sweet and generous. Thank you so much, Jasmine. And I totally understand. Make sure, you want to save your battery and stuff. I hope you're somewhere safe, and I hope you're okay. And if you need anything, join the Discord and let us know. And I'm sending love to you and all of your loved ones and your family and everyone in your town. Miss Alina, yes, that's a very major procedure, and I'm glad I can help you relax. And the winner is The Last American Vampire. I'll be right back with that one. And while I'm pulling that up, feel free to do me a little favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner. there's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch. What do you mean, Scarlett? And yes, Goatman, that's why Molly has her own no justice sticker, because she never wins. Oh, you think? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess so. You're right. You're right. Good point. All right, so grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax. Thank you, Rock and Rollin'. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, check out the shooting stars, and welcome to the porch. I'll be right back with The Last American Vampire. I hope you feel better, June. Oh, Rock and Rolla, thanks. You're so cute. She said, first time here, your tappings worked. Yay, hear that, guys? The tapping works. Thank you, Rock and Rolla. That's amazing, and welcome. I don't know, a couple people have accidentally been overpinning each other. Robin, I did it too. I don't know. I think it's just all of us are getting excited. Aw, thank you so much, Heidi. I love that little otter. Yeah, it was cloudy here too, Diana. Thank you, Rock and Rolla. I love that otter. He's so cute. Jade, I love you. Did you notice how I pretended like I didn't know it was you? I was like, I don't know. Couldn't be Jade. She doesn't do that all the time. I was like, I don't know. We're all like overpinning. We're all doing it. It couldn't possibly just be Jade. Of course not, Jade. I love you. We've already established that you're an overpinner and you don't mean to. We don't need to beat a dead horse, you know? Know how to create what, Goatman? I love that, Robin. Thank you. I'm glad you did. Oh, the beautiful woman. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Jade's the #1 pinner. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the last American vampire. Hi, E-Online. Thank you, Songbird. Thank you, Lysel. Yeah, Star. Gather around the fire. Pull up your blankets tight and listen closely. Tonight's tale carries a chill from a time not so long ago. A time when the shadows at the edge of the woods held unexplained terrors that turned uneducated people towards cruelty and hysteria. Before we had antibiotics, before we understood the invisible world of microscopic bacteria, humanity was at the constant mercy of sudden, inexplicable death. And when uneducated people are terrified, when they watch the ones they love wither away before their very eyes, sadly, they don't tend to look to science for answers. They tend to look to evil forces or conspiracies. Anything to make sense of something they just don't understand. And that is exactly what happened in New England in the late 1800s. This is the true story of Mercy Brown, the last American vampire. Picture the winter of 1892 in Exeter, Rhode Island. It's a harsh, unforgiving landscape. Frost coats the bare branches, and the earth is frozen solid. Here we meet a young woman named Mercy Brown. She was only 19 years old, and by all accounts, a gentle, bright-eyed girl at the beginning of her life. She was the kind of person whose laughter brought warmth to a cold New England farmhouse. But a shadow had fallen over the Brown family, a relentless, invisible stalker called consumption. Today, we know it as tuberculosis. But back then, they didn't know about airborne pathogens. All they knew was the horrifying reality of what the disease did to their loved ones. It earned the name consumption because it literally seemed to consume the afflicted from the inside out. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Gigi. Sufferers grew deathly pale. Their eyes became sunken and hollow, and they would cough up bright red blood. To the horrified onlookers of the 19th century, it didn't look like sickness. It looked as though the life force was being slowly and deliberately drained by an unseen predator. The tragedy began years earlier. Mercy's mother, Mary, was the first to waste away and die. Then, Mercy's older sister, Mary Olive, followed her to the grave. By 1891, the shadow fell on Mercy's brother, Edwin, a strong, strapping young man who suddenly began to wither. And then the shadow turned to young Mercy. But the disease took her swiftly. While Edwin lingered, fighting for every breath, Mercy faded fast. And in January of 1892, the bright light of Mercy Brown was extinguished. Hi, Ryan. And because the ground was too frozen to dig a proper grave, her coffin was placed in an above-ground crypt, waiting for the spring thaw. Thanks, Jess. Welcome back, Amy. But Edwin was still dying. And as his condition worsened, a chilling whisper began to spread through the small, desperate town of Exeter. The neighbors looked at their grieving father, George Brown, and planted a terrifying seed of doubt. Why is George's family dying? Thank you, Sam. It's the old curse. One of the dead is feeding on the living. One of them is a vampire. They believed that if someone in the family were to die and refuse to rest, they would return from the grave in spirit to drain the vitality from surviving relatives. It was a desperate folk belief born of sheer panic and ignorance. When science cannot explain why a family is being wiped out, weaker minds will invent monsters to make sense of the unexplained. Desperate to save his only son, George Brown finally gave in. And on a freezing morning in March of 1892, a group of townspeople accompanied by a local doctor marched into the cemetery. They opened the graves of the mother and the eldest sister first, but there was nothing left but bone and dust. Then, they pried open the crypt, holding 19-year-old Mercy. Gasps echoed through the freezing air. Mercy did not look like a decaying corpse. Her body had slightly shifted in the coffin, and her skin was still relatively flush. And when the doctor, trembling, cut into her chest, he found liquid blood in her heart. Hi, Heather. A vampire, the townspeople declared. Hi, Nate. But what the desperate and terrified minds of the 19th century couldn't comprehend was the natural science that follows death. Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Archangelo. Mercy had been dead for barely 2 months, stored in an above-ground crypt during the freezing New England winter. The cold had acted as an icebox, perfectly preserving her remains. And the shifting of her body was merely the natural process of decomposition and bloating. But a lack of medical knowledge mixed with fear is a powerful blinding force. And right there in the cemetery, they removed Mercy's heart and liver. They placed her organs on a nearby rock and they set them ablaze. Then they scooped up the ashes, mixed them with water, and fed the vile concoction to young Edwin. A gruesome, desperate magic potion meant to cure him. And to no surprise, it didn't work. And Edwin died 2 months later. Thank you, Luigi. Thank you, Heather. The story of Mercy Brown is a haunting tale. But the true monster wasn't a fanged creature of the night. Thank you, LT. The monster was a lack of knowledge and fear. The tragedy of the New England vampire panic is a profound reflection of how our ancestors struggled. Faced with devastating mysteries of nature, of disease, and of death, they sought to regain control through grim rituals, turning their own tragic dead into scapegoats. So let this story be a reminder. When we are faced with the unknown, when fear threatens to consume us, we must strive to hold on to reason. we must remember to shine the light of compassion into the dark, rather than creating monsters out of shadows. For the greatest tragedies occur not when the dead rise, but when the living let their fear guide them. And that's the tale of the last American vampire. Thanks for the follow, Charlotte. Welcome to the porch. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself. Oh, thanks, Simone. And you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I also do have all of the links in my bio. And happy Thursday. I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And Robin, I'm not sure. I have no idea. It's a good question. All right, you guys, I will be right back with the next poll. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock. Hi, Cody. Welcome in. Hi, DW. I will get the next poll ready, and welcome to the porch. Thank you for reposting and sharing. And thank you to everybody tapping. Who knows, Goat Man? They're just always trying to get people to do everything. Same, happily rude mom. Scarlett's like, it's a trap so we can keep you. Happily rude mom, same. But not the Doritos kind, just the regular kind. Or quesadillas. Or Mexican pizzas. Or anything. That's so weird. I wonder why. Are you friends with all the people whose lives you go into? Because whenever my people I'm friends with come in, it says, your friend just came in, invite them up. And it always tries to make me do that too. And sometimes I accidentally send invites when I'm just trying to like click on a comment. It's really stupid. But it does that to... Well, and also, if your live doesn't have the option to have, if they have it turned off for guest boxes, which I don't because on Wednesdays I have guest boxes sometimes. So I don't have it turned off. And a lot of the lives might always. You are? Okay, so maybe they don't have guest box, like the co whatever turned on, and it won't prompt you when you go in. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have any features on for that. I know. Isn't that so cute? Thank you, Miriam. I'm obsessed with the otter. It's so cute. Thank you. Hi, Dennis. Yeah, this app doesn't make any sense. It does whatever it wants. There's no regular system to it. Like what it might do in one live, it doesn't do in another. There's literally no continuity. Me too. I wish I had a quesadilla. I don't know what to call you because your name is a bunch of X's, but I wish I had a quesadilla too. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the Snallygaster, Poplar Creek, the Sasquatch Stalker, the Man in the Red Coat, and the Dark Road. You can vote in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Thank you, Starlight. Thank you, Feisty Mermaid. Thanks, Bed of Dust. Thank you, LT. You guys are so sweet. Thanks. I've never seen like any of those gifts. Hi, Amber. Yeah, beef brisket is good, Robin. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. That's your name? Okay, cool. Yeah, smoked brisket quesadilla. Cade, that sounds incredible. That sounds amazing. I would love to eat that right now. I would love that right now. Or even better, a barbacoa quesadilla. Okay, well, click on the floating numbers, Goat Man. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. This app, I think your version might be outdated. I think if you click on the numbers, it should bring it up. Because the number's just the timer. Yeah, Goat Man, I did. I said that maybe your app is outdated because literally like one update will change the stupidest glitch. Like, I'm telling you, it's this app. Yes, Voodoo Daddy, that would be so good. Thank you, Eric. Also, thank you to people writing in keywords in the chat that pertain to the live. It helps AI scan us and know what our live is about. Thank you, James. Things like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Goosebumps, Paranormal, Supernatural, Spooky Stories, Goat Man, Mothman, Chupacabra, Ghosts, anything like that helps the algorithm figure out what we're about in here. So it doesn't think we're only about eat delicious food. And the winner is the Sasquatch Stalker. Hi, Cody, new porcher from Dallas. Hello. All right, guys, I will be right back with the Sasquatch Stalker. Grab a beanbag, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. Happy Thursday. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Sasquatch Stalker. You know those moments in life when something happens that you can never fully explain? This was one of those moments for me. It started with a road trip. Not the kind you plan for months, just the spontaneous middle of the night decision. Fueled by restlessness and an old habit of chasing solitude in unfamiliar places. The plan was simple. Head down south away from the city. Find a secluded Airbnb where I could clear my head for a few days. I've always been drawn to the quiet of the wilderness in a way that it made the world feel smaller. I drove my usual route. I hopped on I-77 South and I just drove. By the time I hit the Blue Ridge Mountains, I was getting a little tired and I decided it was time to take a break. This is a beautiful area to get some rest and relaxation. I found a cute little cabin about 2 hours away. Booked it with the host, and then I was back on the road. Headed deeper into the mountains now. The drive stretched into the late hours. It took longer than I had thought it would. And I barely noticed as civilization thinned out behind me. The further I went, the more the road narrowed, twisting through dense trees that loomed taller with every mile. My GPS lost service half an hour before I arrived, but I wasn't worried. The directions were pretty straightforward. Just a few turns after passing an old general store that looked like it had been abandoned decades ago. The air was thick with fog when I finally pulled up to the cabin, its wooden frame barely visible through the haze. There was something unsettling about the silence there, an unnatural stillness that made me hesitate before stepping out of the car. The cabin was small but well kept, tucked away at the edge of an isolated lake that stretched into darkness. The air was chilly and the trees swayed gently. There were 0 streetlights, not even a dim glow from the surrounding property. I was completely isolated, and it was pitch black outside. And the way my headlights cast strange shadows against the trees, I was probably just creeping myself out. Inside the cabin was cozy enough. Rustic furniture, a fireplace, a cute old record player in the corner. There was no Wi-Fi, no cell service, just a landline. I lit a fire, unpacked a few things, and I sat on the couch with the blanket wrapped around me. The quiet should have been comforting, but you know the kind of quiet that isn't relaxing? The kind of quiet that gives you a foreboding feeling like something bad is going to happen. That's what it felt like. Then, about 15 minutes later, I heard a loud scream outside in the forest. Not even really a scream, it was more like a high-pitched yowl. You know the sound that Sasquatch supposedly makes? Yeah, it sounded like that. I walked over to the window facing the woods, and I peeked out the side of the drapes. But it was too dark. I couldn't see anything. Neither porch light worked, and there were no driveway lights, no street lights. There wasn't even a dim glow from a neighboring town's light pollution. It was just pitch black. I locked the doors, checked the windows, and I forced myself back under the blanket. I barely slept, listening to every creak, every whisper of movement outside. I don't know what woke me, but when my eyes opened, the fire had burned low. The dim glow casting just enough light to see the outlines of the room. There was a sound outside, faint but distant. Something was moving through the trees. Not the wind, not an animal. These were footsteps. My stomach tightened as I sat up, straining to hear. They were slow and deliberate, and they were circling the cabin. And then they stopped right outside the window closest to the fireplace. And then I heard the window pane jiggle. Oh my God. Someone was trying to open the window. What do I do? I stayed perfectly still, and I didn't move a muscle. Then I heard the footsteps start again, and they were heading toward the back of the cabin. And then I heard the door handle jiggle. Thank God I checked all the locks before laying down. What do I do? I can't even call for help. I had no cell service on purpose. What was I thinking? I froze, barely breathing, my pulse hammering in my ears. I don't know how long I sat there waiting, but it felt like an eternity. And then I heard the footsteps walk away. And then I heard branches snapping as if someone had just walked straight into the woods behind my house. I laid there in silence, scared to move, just thinking about what I should do next. At some point, exhaustion must have won because I drifted off to sleep. Morning came, and with it a fragile sense of relief. I woke up on the couch, and the daylight made the night feel distant, almost unreal. I stepped outside, taking in the fresh mountain air, wrapping my coat around me tight. The ground was undisturbed. No footprints, no sign that anyone had been out there last night. But I couldn't shake off the feeling that I wasn't alone out there. I tried to enjoy the day, hiking through the woods, taking pictures of the lake. But that unease of being watched never left me. I kept looking over my shoulder, scanning the trees, but nothing, just silence. That night, I locked every door, double-checked every window, and I kept the fire burning high. I sat in the armchair, fingers gripping the blanket tight. It was just paranoia, right? Just my mind turning the isolation into something sinister. But this was supposed to be relaxing. Then, just past midnight, I heard it again. Slow, deliberate footsteps circling the cabin. And then I heard the wooden boards creak outside under the weight of something heavy stepping up onto the front porch. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. And then a sound like long scraping drags against the wooden door, as if someone was tracing a fingernail or claw against the wood. Every muscle in my body screamed to run, but I stayed still. My heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. The scraping continued, and then it stopped. And then there was pure silence, which was somehow even worse. The silence stretched for so long that I thought whatever it was had finally left, and that it was over. But then, the doorknob to the front door twisted. The knob rattled again, harder this time, but the door held, thank goodness. Whatever was on the other side let out a low, guttural sound. And then, as suddenly as it started, it stopped, and again that silence. I sat there shaking until the fire burned down to embers, until the first light of dawn crept through the windows. Only then did I dare to move. When I finally opened the door, there on the porch were muddy footprints, but they weren't like any footprints I had ever seen. Long and wide, almost human, but definitely not. I didn't stay to find out what made them. I grabbed my stuff in armfuls and I threw my things in the back of my car and I drove off without stopping, my heart racing the entire way home. I don't know what I saw, but I know something was out there. Something that didn't want me there. And that's the tale of the Sasquatch Stalker. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I am here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore, and you will find me. I also have all the links in my bio. Yes, AMG, I have over 100 stories, so the same ones get requested a lot, and so there are so many that most of you guys probably haven't heard, unless you actually, fall asleep to like the bedtime stories playlist on my YT. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Oh my gosh, Kimberly. Kim! Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Oh my God, how big was it? They're so creepy. Thank you, Diana. You do, Sasha? I love that. I'm so glad. Thank you. Thank you, Third Gen. Oh my God, Kim. What the hell? Ew. Oh my God. How did you kill it? How'd you get it? Oh my God, ew. Ugh. Hi, Biker Life. Welcome in. All right, you guys, I'm going to set up the next poll for us to vote for the next story. And while I'm setting up the next poll, if you guys could do me a big favor, could you hit that share arrow in the bottom right-hand corner? There's a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts my live into your friends' FYPs, and it helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Matt, it just depends on what your preference is. YT or it just depends. Just depends on which one you like better. Why on YT there's motion to the graphics in the videos, just a little bit of movement, and so you get to see the image in the video and stuff. But I think one of the podcast sites, I can't say it, but they also now have video. But then there's a few that don't, so it just depends on what you like. But I would say YT or the Audify. What woke you up, Happily Rude Mom? All right, guys, I'll be right back with the next poll. No, Gabriel, they're not talking about the lives. They're talking about listening to my videos. Thanks, Cody. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. Oh yeah, Gabriel, you should check out the YT. They're all on a playlist called Bedtime Stories. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the door in the water, the playground, the White Witch of Rose Hall, Booger Hollow, and the Marshlight. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. You can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Queen Laura, nobody. Thanks, though. Who's it gonna be, guys? You can vote in the top left-hand corner. We've got the door in the water, which is the Selkies. We've got the playground. We've got the White Witch of Rose Hall. We've got Booger Hollow, and we've got the Marshlight. I don't know, Goatman, what? And the winner is the Marshlight. Thank you. Best damn girl. Oh, she changed her name. Oh my God, Viola, you're so cute. Oh my God, I love it. All right, guys, the winner is the Marshlight. Look, you guys, Viola just changed her name. Best damn girl cheeks. You guys, I love it. I love it. I'll be right back with the Marshlight. Robert, you're exactly right. It was Bigfoot's house. Well, Diana, you're in luck because you can listen to it all night on my YT channel. All of the live recordings go there, and all of the stories are in a Bedtime Stories playlist. Thank you for the follow, Biker Life. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. This is the tale of the Marshlight. And Cody, your wife should join us. Yeah, I agree, Diana. Justin, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, Biker. The Cozy Cryptid one. Thank you. The Cozy Cryptid one's for... I don't know why they do that. And thank you so much. Hi, Rev. I took the internship because I needed the credits. And because I thought it would be a quiet summer. And that's what I wanted, something quiet. The job was with a tiny nonprofit in a dying Louisiana town called Belmare, just south of Lake Maurepas. They handled wetland conservation efforts, mostly grant writing and seasonal cleanup crews. I'd be staying in a loaned cabin and helping digitize land records, logging reports on water levels and wildlife sightings. Thank you, LT. Thank you, Millie. I love that. Thank you so much, LT. But I should have asked more questions. Belmare didn't show up on most maps. It wasn't quite a ghost town, but it sure felt like it was getting there. The roads were cracked and sun-faded. Gas station pumps were bagged and the post office was boarded up. The only signs of life were a few sagging houses wrapped in moss and kudzu, and an overgrown Catholic cemetery that leaned toward the bayou. The nonprofit headquarters was a converted bait shop on stilts. The woman who ran it was in her 70s and barely looked up from her crossword when I arrived. She handed me a ring of keys, a box of old manila folders, and told me the cabin was on the far edge of the old preserve. Gabriel, you know that's right. But it hadn't been used in years. I drove out there with my windows down, trying to pretend like I wasn't sweating through my shirt. The cabin was about 10 minutes from the main road, just a short bridge away from sinking into the marsh. Cypress trees loomed on all sides, their roots tangled in mud, and the smell of sulfur and rot drifted heavy in the air. I remember standing on the porch, looking at the black water beneath the stilts and thinking that if the earth had a throat, the swamp was where it choked. The first night was uneventful, just heat and mosquitoes. I found an old box fan and plugged it in by the window. Set up my laptop and I fell asleep to the chirr of frogs and the distant pops from the marsh. It was the second night that things started to get strange. I woke up around 3 a.m. to a light outside the window. Not headlights from a car and not a flashlight. It was blue and pale and pulsing faintly. Like a dying star, just above the waterline it floated. I sat up slowly and pressed my face to the window screen. The light hovered maybe 20 feet from the cabin, just beyond the edge of the trees, casting long, watery shadows that rippled across the roots and the grass. It drifted slightly left and then right, and then it vanished. I waited for something to follow, an engine, a voice, anything, but there was nothing. Just the humid air and the sudden absence of the frogs. In the morning, I told myself it must have been swamp gas or a trick of light. Maybe I was just more tired than I realized. But then I looked it up. Will-o'-the-wisp, marsh fire, ignis fatuus, all old names for the same thing. Mysterious lights that appear over wetlands. And they're supposedly harmless, but I started locking the door at night after that. The next few days passed quietly enough. I digitized a dozen old surveys, took a kayak into the cypress groves, even spotted a few spoon bowls and a nest of baby gators. It was kind of weird though, because I hadn't seen a single other person near the cabin since I had arrived. And the nonprofit office closed early every day. I chalked it up to heat or disinterest until I found the folder labeled Marshlight. It was buried under a stack of soil surveys in the back of the office filing cabinet. The kind of thing you only find if you're bored or nosy. And I was both. The label was handwritten in red marker, faded with what looked like water damage on the corners. Inside were 8 printed reports, all describing sightings going back 40 years. The first one was from 1976. A fisherman claiming a blue light followed his boat and capsized it. Thank you, Reese. The next was from 1982. A woman who said her brother wandered into the swamp, chasing a lantern, and never came back. Others followed, years apart, eerily similar. Lights, disappearances, things in the water. The last was dated 1999. It simply read, "Subject claimed light spoke in dead brother's voice. Found wandering 6 miles from camp with feet covered in blood and no sign of brother." None of these were in the digital files that I had been uploading. Someone had deliberately kept them separate. I asked the old woman at the nonprofit about it the next day. She looked up from her crossword for a long second, and then she muttered something about old stories and locals drinking too much. When I pressed, she snapped that I shouldn't go outside at night, especially not near the standing pools. And then she wouldn't look up at me again. That night I didn't sleep, and the light came back. This time it was closer. I watched it from a crack in the curtain, how it moved in slow serpentine loops across the water, bobbing like it was searching. And then it stopped, right at the edge of the porch. It hovered there, flickering faintly like breath on glass. And then I heard something that sounded like claws on the metal mesh on the door. I didn't go outside. I didn't even breathe. The next morning, I found the porch screen torn open, 3 long gashes low to the floor. I drove straight to the parish records office. It was in a cinder block building next to an abandoned car wash, and the AC barely worked. I found a part-time clerk who let me comb through old reports while he napped in the break room. And that's where I found the name, the Belmare Devil. Back in the early 1900s, locals believed in a swamp entity that lured people off paths with blue lanterns. They said it mimicked voices, stole faces, wore the skin of the people it lured. One folklorist from Tulane described it as a cryptid or demon with shape-shifting abilities, capable of assuming familiar forms to draw victims into the water. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a story to keep kids from staying out after dark. It was real. I rushed back to the cabin and packed up everything. Laptop, clothes, everything but the records. I wasn't staying. I locked myself in the cabin and I called every number I had, and no one answered. Not the nonprofit, not the police, not even my mom. That night I heard it whispering my name through the walls. At first I thought it was maybe a radio, but it said my name again and again, like it was practicing how to say it. I pressed my back against the door and I held a kitchen knife in my lap until sunrise. When the morning came, I bolted for my car, but my car was gone. Not vandalized, not broken into, it was gone. The gravel all around it was disturbed. Tracks, hooved and deep, led into the tree line as if something had dragged my car away. And that's when I lost it. I screamed until my throat gave out. I tried running down the road, but the heat and the fear made me dizzy and I collapsed in a ditch full of reeds. I had no choice but to go back. I went back to the cabin and I barricaded the door. I found the old propane stove, lit it, and sat by it like a campfire with the knife still clutched in my hand. Thank you, sunshine. Thank you, Crystal. And then came the knocking. Rhythmic knuckles on wood. I did not move. And then a voice. My mother's voice. Thank you, Tam. Thank you, Kathy. My mother's voice called out from outside. She said she'd come to bring me home and that she was sorry, that she hadn't answered my calls and that she was worried about me. But I knew it wasn't her. She lived 3 states away. There was no way she could have gotten here that quickly. Then I heard another voice. Mine. It was me, outside, crying, pleading to be let in. I covered my ears and I rocked on the floor. The voices circled the cabin all night, laughing, begging, mimicking. But I didn't open the door. Sometime before dawn, the stove flickered and died. The last thing I saw was the blue glow, rising again through the floorboards, seeping up like fog. And then everything went black. I woke up in a hospital weeks later. They said they found me on the porch of the cabin, dehydrated, feverish, repeating my own name over and over again. My fingernails, some were torn off and my feet were all blistered, but I was alive. They said the nonprofit shut down the day I went missing. And the old woman who ran it, gone, she vanished. And the property was seized by the state. When I got my belongings back, I found that my red bandana, something I never took off, was missing. And in its place was an old scrap of flannel that was not mine. I moved back north and I started going to therapy and I tried to forget. But last week, I saw a news article. A team of campers had gone missing near Lake Marpa, and the only clue was a picture of them uploaded before disappearing. It showed a dim, marshy landscape and a small, flickering light hovering just above the water, and bright blue. And that's the tale of the marshlight. Thank you, LT. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Thank you, JS Shazzy. I appreciate that. Loust, thank you for the star. That's cute. Caden, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. All right, so I will set up the next poll for us to vote. Feel free to do me a little favor and hit that share arrow in the bottom right hand corner. And there is a little yellow circle with 2 arrows chasing each other that says repost. And that puts the live into your friends' FYPs and helps us grow this beautiful porch of ours. Thank you, James. Hi, Misbehavin'. Also, sharing to your stories and sharing with your friends helps too. And thank you to everybody tapping. I'll be right back with the next poll. Oh, thanks, Reese. Oh, Bess. Oh, Viola, thank you so much. I love that dress. Hi, Matt. LAC, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Adrian, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the porch. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. We have the door in the water, the Greenbrier ghost, the crawl space, the maintenance man, and Booker Hollow. You can vote in the blue box in the top left-hand corner, and you can vote up to 50 times, and you can vote for more than one story. Who's it going to be? We have The Door in the Water, The Greenbrier Ghost, The Crawl Space, The Maintenance Man, and Booger Hollow. Guys, there's a treasure box up in the top corner too. Thank you guys. What was Goatman's joke? Let me find it. Viola, thank you for the treasure box. You're so sweet. Okay, let me look for the joke. How do you stop a bull from charging? Cancel its credit card. That's a good one. Hi, Ange. Thank you, Kathy. Hi, Empress. And the winner is the Greenbrier Ghost. Woohoo! Hi, Brooke. I'll be right back with the Greenbrier Ghost. We have 13 seconds left on the treasure box. Thank you, Misbehavin'. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Kristen, for the follow. Welcome to the porch. Who got the treasure box? Oh, Finja got it. Yay. Congrats, Finja. Hi, Nikki. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pal Society. This is the tale of the Greenbrier Ghost. And Archangel, you can always request anytime you want. Just write them in all caps and say, hey, request. Because I still set up the polls each time. Hi, Moon Goddess. How you doing, cutie? Hi, Robin. Nestled in the rolling hills of West Virginia. Oh, yeah, you're making bread. Greenbrier County is known for its breathtaking landscapes and rich history. But beneath its picturesque exterior lies a dark tale that has captured the imagination of locals and paranormal enthusiasts alike. It's the story of Zona Eastershoe. A young woman whose tragic life and untimely death would give rise to one of the most famous ghost stories in American history. Thank you, Misbehavin'. The Legend of the Greenbrier Ghost. Zona was born in 1873 to a farming family in Greenbrier County. And yes, Audrey, this is a true story. She was known for her beauty and her charm. With her bright smile and warm spirit, Zona quickly became a beloved figure in her community. She had dreams of finding true love, and those dreams came to fruition when she met a man named Edward Shue. Edward was a charismatic but somewhat mysterious figure. He was a blacksmith by trade and on the surface seemed to be the perfect match for Zona. Their courtship was swift and soon they were wed. However, friends and family began to express concerns about Edward's temperament. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cody. Some warned Zona that he had a reputation for being hot-headed and could be possessive. But the young couple seemed blissfully in love, and Zona believed that she had found her soulmate. The couple moved into a small home in the area, and for a time, things appeared to be going well. But soon after their marriage, Zona's family noticed a change in her demeanor. She became withdrawn, her vibrant personality dulled by an unseen weight. And the rumors surrounding Edward's temperament continued to swirl, and Zona's loved ones feared for her safety. And in January of 1897, a chilling event unfolded. Zona was found dead in her home, her lifeless body draped across the floor. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Robin. Thank you so much, Robin. The news of her death sent shockwaves through the community. Initial speculation about the cause of death ranged from natural causes to foul play, but an autopsy was never performed. Look at those little heart toots. Thanks. Edward insisted that Zona had simply collapsed because she had been in poor health, and the local authorities accepted his explanation because he was her husband. Zona's funeral was a somber affair. Mourners gathered to pay their respects, but the air was thick with unspoken questions. What had truly happened to the young bride? In the days following her burial, whispers of foul play circulated among the townsfolk. But with no evidence to support their claims, they had no recourse. As the weeks passed, strange occurrences began to unfold. Zona's mother, Mary Heaster, was particularly affected by her daughter's sudden death. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, and in her grief, she sought solace in her faith. And one night while praying, she was visited by a vision. Thanks, Robin. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mary claimed that Zona appeared to her in a dream, ethereal and glowing. Zona's ghost spoke to her, revealing that her death had not been accidental. Thank you, Deborah. She told her mother that Edward had killed her, and that he had been abusive, and that he had strangled her in a fit of rage. Zona's spirit urged Mary to seek justice for her untimely demise, urging her to confront the truth that had been buried alongside her in the ground. This revelation shook Mary to her core, but she was determined to uncover the truth and bring her daughter's killer to justice. Despite the town's skepticism, Mary was resolute, and she spoke to anyone who would listen, sharing her vision and calling for a new investigation into Zona's death. Thank you so much, Robin. Mary's fervor caught the attention of local authorities, who were initially hesitant but intrigued by her claims. And as the tide of public opinion began to shift, they agreed to exhume Zona's body for a proper examination. And on February 22nd, 1897, her body was exhumed from the cemetery, and the coroner's investigation commenced. Zona's body was remarkably well preserved, and it bore marks around her neck consistent with strangulation. The forensic evidence seemed to support Mary's claims, and Edward Shue was promptly arrested and charged with murder. Thank you, Dennis. The trial of Edward Shue became a spectacle that captured the attention of the nation. The courtroom was filled with townsfolk eager to witness the unfolding drama. Mary testified about her vision, recounting the details of her daughter's ghostly appearance. The defense argued that Mary was merely grieving and that her claims were fabricated. Thank you, Crystal. Nevertheless, the prosecution presented the coroner's findings and evidence of Edward's violent temper. As the trial progressed, more witnesses came forward, recounting their own experiences with Edward's volatile nature. Neighbors testified that they had heard arguments between the couple, and several friends of Zona spoke about her fearful demeanor in the months leading up to her death. The courtroom buzzed with tension as evidence mounted against Edward. But he maintained his innocence throughout. During the proceedings, something remarkable happened. That's right, Brooke. I'll fucking thank whoever I want, Billy. Okay? Do I have to? No. Am I going to? Fucking yeah. This is my live and I'm building a community here. If you don't like that, you can listen to them on my YT channel by yourself. Got it? The ghost of Zona seemed to loom over the trial. A heavy presence that everyone could feel. Many claimed to have felt a chill in the air whenever her name was mentioned. And in the eyes of many, Zona's spirit was avenging her own death, haunting the very man who had taken her life. Yes, Empress. As the trial reached its climax, the jury deliberated. Days passed as they weighed the evidence and the emotional testimonies. Grim. Finally, they returned with a verdict. Guilty of murder. Nikki, I love you. Edward Shue was sentenced to life in prison. The town of Greenbrier erupted in a mix of relief and disbelief. Yeah, go on, get. After Edward's conviction, Zona's ghost was said to have found peace. Her spirit finally at rest after achieving justice for her untimely death. The haunting of Greenbrier became a cornerstone of local lore. And Zona's story was told and retold. Her life and death intertwined with the theme of love, betrayal, and the unyielding bond between mother and daughter. Mary Heaster became a local hero. Patty. Her unwavering belief in her daughter's spirit leading to justice. The story of Zona Heaster Shue became emblematic of the power of love and the strength of a mother's resolve. The events surrounding her life and death have sparked discussions about the intersection of the spiritual and the material, of the known and the unknown. Today, the tale of the Greenbrier ghost is not just a chilling story from the past. Oh, I would do it in person 1,000,000% and just right. I've done it before. Today, the Greenbrier ghost is not just a chilling story from the past. It remains a point of fascination for paranormal investigators and historians alike. The home where Zona lived is now part of local folklore, attracting those who seek to understand the mysteries of the spirit world. And the trial of Edward Shue is cited in legal classes and legal history as one of the earliest cases where a ghost's testimony was influenced a murder trial. Zona's story has inspired countless books, documentaries, and ghost tours in the area. Each retelling of the events of her life and death with new twists. So did Zona truly return from the grave to seek justice? While we may never know for certain, her story continues to resonate, reminding us that love can transcend even the darkest of circumstances like death. In the shadows of Greenbrier County, the legend of the Greenbrier Ghost lives on, a powerful testament to the enduring spirit of an Appalachian woman who refused to be forgotten. And that's the tale of the Greenbrier Ghost. And yes, for everybody asking, that is a true story. See you next time, biker. Thanks for coming. Oh my God. Lily the leopard. My God, she's so cute. God, I wish it lasted longer. Why is she so cute? Hi, Maria. Thank you for the thumbs up, Maria. Welcome in, everybody. My name's Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all of these myself, and you can listen to them whenever you would like on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. I also have all of the links in my bio. Also, thank you to whichever mod blocked Billy. I'm not sure who did it, but I just went and scrolled back to block him myself, and one of you guys already did it. So thank you very much, and sorry, sometimes I gotta turn on that bitch switch. Gotta keep the porch clean, you know? Robin did it. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate you so much. I will be right back with the next poll for us to vote for the next story. Welcome to the porch. Don't worry about it, Skrilla. It's over now. Yeah, he done messed up. And the funniest part is I love you, Porch Pals, because all of y'all went after his ass. Y'all went after his ass, and I love you for it. I was trying to finish the story without laughing because you guys went after him. Get him. Yeah, get him. So thank you guys. It was amazing. I love you guys so much. And I love that you guys understand me and that I am only a bitch when people need to learn some manners and respect, and they need to not treat other people like shit. And so that habit of treating other people like shit stops here. And he learned today, didn't he? He sure did. Grim said it's better than Viagra. Grim loves when I'm a bitch. Anyway, I'll be right back with the next poll. I love you guys. Well, the best part is he wasn't expecting me to stop in the middle of the fucking story to call him out. maybe he won't do that again to any other live host, because he sure as shit was not expecting me to stop in the middle of my story and call him out, and he picked the wrong live. Yep, he picked the wrong live. Because then all eyes were on his stupid ass, because I stopped the story to call him out, and guess what? All the porch pals went after him like little piranhas. You guys like, as soon as I called him out, you're like, which one's Billy? It was great. So love you guys so much. Be right back. Exactly, Nate. You guys went after him like blood in water. I've never felt more protected in my life. It was really, to be honest, very wonderful. Thank you, guys. Matt, you guys really did. Brooke was the first one to tell him to fuck off, which doesn't surprise me. Brooke got him first. She was like, excuse me. Thank you, Justin. Yes, Maria, keeping that porch clean. And yes, user, I go after really late sometimes. So yes, I was still on it too. You weren't dreaming. Oh, I know you did, Brooke. No, we won't, Rich. Blue said maybe his anus was in retro. Okay. Oh, we got a live one. We got a live one, guys. We got another one. But this one's not a real person like Billy was. Got her. Got her. Oh, Justin got her too. Oh, she was just a bot. Don't worry, guys. She was just a bot. Right, lovely. I move at like... I'm so fast. I don't even mean to. Oh, an AMG. It's not the same person. Those are bot accounts, and they all say the same thing on the top. They all have the same message that they want you to check it out. And so it's not the same account. It's just those are the bot accounts. And they always come in. Oh, Hellcat, I'm so glad. And that is my intention, is to keep this a safe place so I don't fuck around with bad energy. We keep it high vibration up in here. And you've got an elemental supreme running the show, so the fuckers don't last but a second. Plus, I'm like 12 mods deep in here, so if I don't get to them, one of them will. So anyway, be right back with the poll. Yes, I'm glad you're here, Hellcat. You are safe. Yeah, for sure, Anna. For sure. And the funny thing is I have sniper mods too, who just sit in the back and don't even ever chat. And they just wait. Like Star and Yaya. And oftentimes Lovely. Yeah, Lovely says, I swear the bots wait for me to get ready for bed. The bots wait for her to get ready for bed. They're like, perfect timing. Lovely's putting her PJs on. All right, you guys, the next poll is ready. And yes, Gage, don't worry, I'm already going to do an extra story right now. I'm sorry your internet went down. Yes, check your windows, Hellcat. Yes, you do, lovely, and I love it. Because I don't even think you're here sometimes, then randomly you'll just like chime in. And I'm like, oh. All right, guys, we have The Door in the Water, Route 666, featuring Skrilla, The Snack. We have The Hitchhiker. We have Booger Hollow. And we have Poplar Creek. And yes, my mods are the best. You are correct, Archangelo. They're amazing and I love them. You can vote in the top left-hand corner. There's a blue box and you can vote up to 50 times. And you can vote for more than one story. Yes, Skrilla is a snack, Callie. Trust me, ladies, you want the eye candy in Route 666. The male character is a snack, and he's also in the live. Just gonna toot his horn for him. He's a snack. There he is. And he's in the live. So if you want to see a snack, instead of all these sexy ghost women, if you want to see a snack alive man, vote for Route 666, guys. There he is right there. There he is. The man, the myth, the legend. Kim. I can hear Kim say, my God, today. Kim said, my God, today. Oh, come on, guys. We can get more votes for Route 666. I know it. Jennifer. That's a good one, Jennifer. Fair. That's fair. Cody said, got you, bro. Hell yeah, Cody. Cody's coming in hot. I love when, ma'am, this is a Wendy's. I love when Kim says, my God, today. Because it's so funny because I say, my God. My God. And one time I came up in a box and I was like complaining, oh my God, you guys, Route 666 won. I think it's Cody. Thank you, Cody. Cody really threw it in there at the end, and so did Rich. Yeah, thanks. And Jen, thanks, guys. It worked. That was a swoop in. That was a snipe. That was a snipe. User said, is he cute? Describe it, y'all. Don't worry. It just won. So now you're going to get to see. The people on YT want to know what he looks like too. Yeah, Cody, you're the shit. Thank you. And Cody just joined us. He's new. He's a new porch pal. And he stepped up to the plate and said, gotcha, bro. I love that. I love that. I love my porch pals. You guys are the best. Tweak Skeet. I like that name. Thank you for the cozy cryptids. I know, and he's finally here when his story won. Isn't that amazing? I don't wish you were shy. I'm glad you're not shy. Yeah, where the hell is Jade? Aw, Viola. Which one did you want again? Where's Jade? That'll do it. Wait, what'll do it, Kim? What'll do it? Oh, but I came up into Kim's guest box once, and I was talking about, and I'm sure it was like, I don't know, probably one of the first times I came up in a box, and it was Hitchhiker. I know, that's my favorite story too. And I was like, yeah, and you know what, Kim, blah, 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 blah. And like, they're just faking. They don't even know what they're talking about. My God, because that's how I say it. And Kim was like, my God, today. That's right. My God, today. I was like, yeah. She made my saying even cooler. Because I always just say, my God. And now I'm like, my God, today. Like Kim's really rubbed off. Like it's the best. She's so funny. I love her. Yeah, so funny. Because I used to just be like, my God. And now I'm like, my God, today. Well, I'll be damned. Well, I always said that, but... All right, guys, I'll be right back with Skrilla the Snack, Route 666. Skrilla the Snack coming up. Skrilla said, sir, this is a Wendy's. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Blue and Crew. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Ivy. So you're also the biggest Lord of the Rings lore nerd? Love that. Love that, Cody. And I, too, am an ex-model. Tell your wife I said hi. Hey, girl, hey. Sup? Yeah, Kim, I love when you say wussa. Wussa and wussa. Brooke, you're so funny. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Palace Society. Yeah, I did. I did. This is the tale of the Devil's Highway. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Christy. You know who I'm not thanking? Billy. I'll add you, Cody. Most people know it as Route 666, the Devil's Highway. Technically, it no longer exists. In 2003, the stretch of highway running through parts of New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah was officially renumbered to US 491. The official explanation was safety improvements and route restructuring. But nobody who grew up around that highway believes that story. Deborah. The old highway had earned a reputation long before the number changed. Truckers claimed they encountered a massive black sedan that appeared out of nowhere, driving impossibly fast, before simply disappearing. Thanks, Sherry. Others reported being chased by a pitch black vehicle with no license plate and no visible driver. There were stories of phantom semi-trucks that barreled directly toward oncoming traffic before vanishing inches from impact. The older stories came from people who lived near the highway, and they described seeing cattle gathered silently along the roadside, not grazing, just staring, entire herds standing perfectly still for miles. Thank you, Megan. Thanks, Celia. Ranchers occasionally spoke about livestock found mutilated under strange circumstances, feeding rumors that something darker wandered the desert after sunset. Skrilla. And then there were the stories that never made newspapers. People disappearing after pulling over. Abandoned vehicles with the doors hanging open. Drivers who insisted they had mysteriously lost hours of time on the road. Now, whether those accounts were true or not didn't really matter, because Route 666 had become one of those places where every strange thing that happened was absorbed into its mythology until the road became an entity itself. Now, I had never even heard of the road until Ben, also known as Skrilla. He casually mentioned it to me because he knows that I love spooky and unexplained. And as someone whose love for the open road runs deep, I knew I had to cruise that stretch of asphalt for myself. And I was hoping to drag Ben along with me. Neither of us really believed in cursed highways. We just thought it would make for a fun weekend. We crossed into northwestern New Mexico just after lunch. The landscape slowly emptied until there was almost nothing left except tan mesas, dry washes, weathered fences, and endless sky. It was beautiful. It always seemed like in horror movies, they exaggerated how isolated places like this felt, but they didn't. You could drive an hour without seeing another vehicle, sometimes longer. Every now and then we'd pass faded memorial crosses planted along the side of the road. 1 became 5, and 5 became 20. Ben finally pointed out what I had been thinking. There were an alarming number of memorials on this road. The road itself wasn't even difficult to drive. Long, straight stretches. Gentle hills, good visibility. Nothing about it explained why there had been so many tragedies on this lone stretch of highway. Near sunset, we spotted what looked like a scenic turnout overlooking a shallow canyon. Hi, Brain Eater. We pulled in to get out and stretch our legs. I immediately noticed the silence. No insects, no birds. Even the breeze seemed absent. It was just still. Ben looked over the edge of the overlook while I wandered toward the weathered wire fence running along the edge. And that's when I noticed the cattle. Maybe 30 of them spread across the desert below. None of them were eating. None of them were lying down. Every single one of them was facing us. I pointed them out to Ben and he laughed at first, but then his smile disappeared. They weren't moving. Not one was flickering an ear, not one was swishing a tail. It looked like someone had paused reality. We stood there for nearly a minute. Finally, Ben shrugged and headed back toward the truck. The moment his hand touched the driver's door, every cow turned at the exact same time. All at once, like dozens of mannequins rotating together. Instead of looking at us, they were now looking behind us. Ben slowly lowered his hand from the door handle and turned around. There was nothing there. I ran back over to the overlook and I looked down to see that all the cattle were gone. Bed of dust, said Moonikins. I love that. The entire field was empty. What the actual? Ben came running over, firmly grabbed my hand, and very sternly said, "Devin, respectfully get your ass back in the truck now." Fair enough. I listened because he was right. My self-preservation instincts aren't the best. Neither of us said another word until we were back on a paved highway. No more scenic overlooks for us. Darkness settled fast. The GPS estimated another hour before we'd reach our motel. About 20 minutes later, we rounded a bend and saw something standing in the middle of the road. At first, I thought it was an elk or maybe a horse. But as we got closer, I realized it was too broad to be either. Ben slowed down to almost a crawl as we got closer to it, and the animal didn't move. Then we could see clearly that it was a bull. Sport mode. Sport mode. It was an enormous black bull. The horns stretched so wide, they nearly reached both lane markings. It wasn't wandering, it was just standing, perfectly square in the center of the lane. Ben gently honked the horn. Nothing. Another honk, still nothing. It simply stared directly at us through the windshield. Ben muttered that we needed to go around, but there wasn't really much shoulder. But there seemed to be enough room to squeeze by, and he slowly steered to the left. The bull turned its head, like it was tracking us. We edged further around it, and when my window came alongside its shoulder, I could finally grasp how massive it really was. Its back was level with the hood of the truck. Then Ben accelerated, and we cleared it. Both of us instinctively looked in the side mirrors, and there was no hamburger anywhere in sight. There you go, Kim. Just empty pavement for miles. We both just looked at each other and laughed, like Are we tripping right now? And if we are, at least we're going through this together. Neither of us spoke for a while after that, our heads spinning with the surreal experience we had just had. Then Ben finally broke the silence and said, "We actually saw that, right?" I nodded in disbelief, and then I scooted over and I leaned my head on his shoulder. And we rode for a while in silence. When you go through something unexplainable with someone, you turn to each other for comfort, to help one another feel not so insane. It creates a special bond. About 30 minutes later, the truck lurched and the steering wheel jerked violently. A flat tire, great. Ben managed to pull over onto the shoulder without rolling the rim, skillfully, might I add. Neither of us were thrilled about changing a tire in complete darkness, Jade said. Jade. But we didn't really have a choice. Ben grabbed the jack and I held the inadequate flashlight. And then we realized the tire wasn't punctured, it had been shredded. Long parallel cuts. Almost as though someone had dragged giant claws across the sidewall. And then he pointed underneath the truck and there were fresh footprints, not human. 4 toes with long claws. And they didn't approach the truck, they came out from beneath it, which made no sense. The prints began directly under the rear axle, and then continued away into the desert. How? Ben quickly got the spare tire put on and we climbed back inside. Then he tried starting the engine, and nothing. Here comes Jade. He tried again, and still nothing. The truck wasn't turning on, but the dash lights remained on, so the battery had to be fine. It simply refused to crank. And then something bumped the underside of the truck. Jade. Not hard, just enough to make the floor vibrate. Another bump, closer to my door. And then another. It was moving around us. Whatever it was stayed below the window, so we couldn't see it. We could only hear it scraping against the frame. Ben leaned over and made sure my door was locked, and we huddled together in the middle of the truck, as far from the windows as possible. Neither of us took our eyes off the windows, and minutes passed. But it felt like hours. And then I noticed movement in the passenger mirror. Good night, Robin, sweet dreams. Something low and black running alongside the truck. It disappeared before I could focus on it. A second later, it flashed past Ben's mirror and then mine again. Circling fast. It kept staying below window level, almost deliberately, like it knew exactly where we couldn't see it. Goat man. The truck rocked once, twice, hard enough to make the suspension creak. Ben whispered that whatever was outside was trying to tip us. The third shove lifted my side several inches, and I heard gravel sliding underneath. Another hit, stronger. This time the truck actually shifted. Then came a sound like heavy breathing directly beneath our feet. Ragged, deep, and slow, like something enormous had crawled underneath and stopped to catch its breath. The jack, which Ben had accidentally left outside, flew from underneath us and disappeared into the dark. Not rolled, it was thrown. We both saw it. And then as suddenly as it began, everything stopped. The breathing, the pressure, the rocking. Nothing, just absolute silence. Ben turned the key and the ignition started instantly, as though nothing had ever been wrong. We both smiled at each other and chuckled as he pressed on the gas and we hauled ass out of there. We didn't stop until we reached civilization. I have no idea what we experienced out there in the desert, but I can't help but wonder if somewhere out there, on the lonely stretches of the highway once known as Route 666, another traveler is slowing down tonight after spotting something standing in the road, trying to decide if what they're seeing is perfectly ordinary or the beginning of the next story someone will tell about Route 666, the Devil's Highway. And that's the tale of the Devil's Highway. Thank you, Brooksy. I love that little otter. All right, you guys, welcome in. My name is Devin, and this is Porch Lore. And I tell spooky bedtime stories to help you relax your nervous system and fall asleep. Thanks, Brooke. And I'm here every single night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 1 in the morning. I do write and record all these stories myself, and you can listen to them whenever you want on my YT channel, as well as all of the podcast streaming sites. Thank you, Diana. Just look for Porch Lore and you will find me. Thank you, Puerto Rican Shorty. I also do premiere a new one of these stories every Monday live on my YT channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do a live chat, a live premiere. We have a lot of fun. Thanks, Cody. Thanks for being here. And if you aren't able to fall asleep, don't worry. I do have all of my stories pre-recorded on a playlist called Bedtime Stories on my YT channel. You can just hit shuffle or play all and you'll be asleep by like the second one. And all of the recordings of my lives also automatically go over to YT once they're done. So, oh, thanks, Cody. I appreciate that. Yes, Venus, for sure. And on Wednesdays, I do go live during the daytime on camera and I hang out with everybody for a few hours and we just do all kinds of different things. So feel free to join me on Wednesdays as well. Uh-oh, Goatman couldn't get out of his beanbag and he rolled off the porch. You guys, I told you guys to help him with his hooves. Skrilla, thanks for the otter. Oh, we got corn. Thanks for the corn. You guys, I thought I told you guys to help Goatman on Wednesdays, JT, at 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we usually go for like 3 hours. And I just hang out. Like I took you guys to the beach last week. Just all kinds of fun things. Yep, 5 chompies. Yeah, guys, help Goatman with his hooves. He gets tangled. She said I was trying to help him and I dropped all my markers. I have a Goatman of Nag's Head story, but not Goatman's Bridge in Texas story. I do have a Goatman story, but it is from Nag's Head, not the one in Texas. But we do have one here too, who gets his hooves caught in things all the time. Which arrow, Goat Man? Andrew said the hoof file gets here tomorrow. Uh-oh. Maria said, yes, please help him. Maria over on YT says, help Goat Man with his hooves. Oh, really? No, Goat Man, you just have to like hit it a bunch. It really doesn't. It's just stupid. Half the time it doesn't even work for me, but you just have to keep slamming on it. Do you, Cody? Awesome. Wait, what part of Texas is that in? I used to live in Houston, but what part of Texas is the Goatman Bridge in? Is that near Fort Worth? Where is that near? Oh, yeah, Denton. That's right. Okay, yeah, like Dallas here. Okay, got it. All right, you guys know what time it is. And if you're a new porch pal, welcome in. Don't forget to follow, so if you fall off the porch, you can find us again. And we always end with this story because it got requested so often that people would be like, wait, you're not going to end the live until you read that one, right? And so then I just kind of jokingly was like, I'm just going to start ending every live with this story. And then I just kept doing it. And then I kept doing it. And then one day I was like, all right, I think you guys are sick of it. And everyone freaked out. Like it was like a mutiny on the porch. And Justin called his therapist and 911. It was a whole thing. So we end with this story now. Brian, thank you. Thank you for following me on YT. I appreciate it. So this is our favorite story. It is beloved. We love the characters in it now. And there is an entire section on my merch store dedicated completely to this. But don't worry, Tiffany, they're all on my YT channel. So you won't have to want more. Like literally I have them all recorded and I have all my live recordings. So you can just fall asleep to them right away. Like you'll probably make it to the second one. Oh, good night, Goat Man. We'll see you tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Yeah, Tiffany, just go to look for Porch Lore on my YT. And don't you worry, I have a whole bedtime stories playlist. So you do not have to, and all my stories are there. So you could listen to every single one if you wanted. But this story is everybody's favorite, and it is called The Night Shift at Sycamore Diner. So if you like grilled cheese, I highly recommend, good night, Jade. I highly recommend making a grilled cheese sandwich because you will be craving one by the time this is done. Yes, Diana, perfect time. Spark it up, girl. Take a drag for me. All right, I'll be right back. Quick swig, and I'll be right back. Grab a beanbag chair, grab a hammock, sit back and relax, and welcome to the porch. Good night, Bitfrost. Wait, how do I say it? Do I say it weird? What do you mean? People always point out the way I say certain things, and I don't even realize it. Now I'm gotta think about how I say it. Grilled cheese? Wait, grilled cheese. Grilled cheese. If you like grilled cheese, I don't know how. Is that... If you like grilled cheese. Grilled cheese? Is it in an accent? Do I have an accent? It comes out, doesn't it? Damn it. I heard it once I started saying it. I'm like, damn. Grilled cheese? I do. I say, he's right. Grilled cheese. Well, yeah, Kyle, I'm from North Carolina. I took non-regional diction training to not have an accent, but I'm not as stressed out in I'm not in that setting anymore. So I don't even have to use it if I don't want, so my real accent slips out a lot. Like, yeah, like grilled cheese and towel, wow, file. I can't say ILE the way everybody else does, and it sounds crazy. Your favorite women are those from North Carolina. You know what they say? Carolina girls, best in the world. You know. But I will say, I can't imagine saying like tile, file. Like that sounds crazy to me. Skrilla. Grim says, I love the way Devin sounds lighting up troll. Tile and Kyle, yeah. But did you know, Matt, people say Kyle and tile? Like that's hard for me. Like, I don't even think I can tile. Wait, the way you guys say no. No. We know who says no in a funny way. See, Kyle, thanks. Thanks, Kyle. See? You know who says no in a funny way? Australian people. Nar. 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 Oh my God, nar. Yeah. Red lips. Wait. Okay, so everybody else says tile, Kyle. And that's like, my mouth does not. I say towel and Kyle. And I didn't notice it until I read this story where I say cracked towel. And everybody was like, cracked what? I'm like, cracked towel. I say Anna Marie. Your uncle's super southern, he calls you cow. Yeah. That's also, yeah, cow. Yeah, that's more of a twang. I lost that, but I probably would have called you that in high school. Like, hey, cow. But that's, the twang, that heavy of a twang is gone, but certain words I still have a hard time with. But yeah, cow is definitely some twangy way to say Kyle. Skrilla. Yeah, right. Skrilla, you're in my Wednesday lives the least out of everybody. What do you mean? Yeah, my fizzy water, Sharon. Give me my fizzy water. Yeah, no, we usually just go over whenever we feel like it. Yeah, Brooke, for sure yours is. No, he doesn't miss them, Brooke. He just is working during the day. So he like pops in, pops out. Oh, I guess you're correct, Skrilla. That is true. Perfect logo. Go make some grilled cheese. Go make a Sammy. Go make a Sammy. Yeah, Brooke, a lot of people can't make it much during the day because they're busy. And thank you to all of you on YT tonight. You guys are always so awesome and so unproblematic and sweet. Thank you for being here. Well, Diana, you're in luck because I'm going to visit my best friend in Lake Tahoe at the end of the month. And I will probably be doing my show at 10 o'clock Pacific. Skrilla, thank you. Matt. Yeah, probably Justin. It depends though. It depends on the day. It's going to be flexible. Kind of like when I was at the witchy convention. Remember, sometimes at the witchy convention, it was only like an hour different. And then other nights it was like 2 hours. It just kind of depends on what we have planned on certain nights. But I'm still going to go live. It's just the time is dependent on what my friend has planned, because she has everything. She has like a secret little schedule to surprise me. And I don't know what she has planned. But 7 o'clock there is like their dinner time. So, oh, well, yeah, for sure. But it'll just be for a few days here and there. But the Pacific people will actually get a treat because it'll be their bedtime for a change. Thank you, JK. Plus, the way I see it, a lot of them are able to go to Daz's afterwards and stuff. So I feel like, I don't think they might not hang for the whole time, but. Good night, Maria. Sweet dreams. Ooh, yeah, that sounds good. Good logo. I'm starving, so that sounds amazing. Oh, you did, Rich? I'm so glad. Isn't he so silly and funny? Daz is hilarious. Yeah, Justin, that's what I was thinking. Like, they actually doing their lives after me kind of made me feel better about, like, having to be flexible. Because I'm like, you know what? People are kind of hanging in there, too. So, like, I don't think it would be that bad, just for a few days here and there. It's probably just going to be, like, the weekend, most likely, that I'll be late. But, like, we'll see how it goes because I don't really know what Taylor has planned. But Taylor does want to co-host the live with me one night, which I'm maybe going to try to get her to do on Monday because of the premiere. I'm going to try to do the premiere still on Monday and then get her to join with me, and maybe we'll be on camera. Kim. Good night, Cody. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Yes, I have heard that is very good. The Witch's Brew drink. Submitted for the approval of the Porch Pals Society. This is the tale of the Sycamore Diner. Well, and Justin, if you can't make it that work that late, you don't have to worry about it at all. You know what I mean? Like, if that's too late for any of the mods, I completely understand. It's just for a quick vacation and then we'll be back to normal. I'm not usually the kind of person who pulls over on back roads at night. Not unless I absolutely have to. But that night, something about the storm, the long drive, and that growling pit in my stomach convinced me otherwise. I was hungry. It was late October, and I was headed back to campus after a weekend visit with my friends in North Carolina. I had a midterm on Monday, and my plan had been to drive straight through, 5 hours, no stops. But then came the rain. One of those cold, slanted, whispery rains that creeps into your bones and makes the windshield wipers sound like a heartbeat. I had taken the wrong exit, trying to bypass traffic, and I ended up on a 2-lane back road, surrounded by nothing but pine trees and power lines. And that's when I saw the neon sign. SYCAMRE Diner. The O in Sycamore was flickering like it hadn't worked right in years. But the rest was lit up in a cherry red neon. A tiny beacon in the middle of nowhere. I figured I'd grab a quick bite, maybe some coffee, check my map, and get back on the highway. But I should have just kept driving. I should have known something was off the second I stepped inside. The bell over the door jingled, but not like a normal bell. It made this sharp metallic ping that echoed longer than it should have. The air inside was warm, almost too warm, and it smelled like grilled onions and pancake syrup. The place looked like it had been yanked straight from 1957. A checkerboard floor, red vinyl booths, a long counter with spinning stools, even a jukebox in the corner that looked like it hadn't worked in decades. And the people, they all stopped and looked at me the second I walked in. Not in a rude way, just quiet, like they weren't expecting me. Like I'd walked into the middle of a sentence that no one wanted to finish. A waitress, tall, with a beehive hairdo and a light blue uniform, smiled and waved me over. "You get caught in the rain, sweetheart," she said, handing me a laminated menu. "Thanks, Millie." I nodded, still trying to shake off that weird feeling. "Yeah, the highway's a mess." She chuckled and patted my shoulder. "Well, you're safe here. Sycamore's always open for travelers." I sat down at a corner booth, and the vinyl creaked. I remember the jukebox shifted songs by itself and started playing some slow doo-wop ballad that I didn't recognize. I looked around and everyone looked normal. Sort of. There was a trucker with a thick gray beard drinking coffee at the counter. A young couple whispering to each other in a booth by the jukebox. And an older woman stirring tea like she was lost in thought. But they all had the same look in their eyes, like they were there but also somewhere else. Like they were watching me out of the corner of their eyes even when they were looking down. The waitress came back with coffee. Strong, hot, surprisingly good. And I ordered a grilled cheese with fries. Simple. Safe. She wrote it down with one of those clicky pens and said, "Don't worry, it's on the house tonight." And that was my second red flag. No diner just gives food away. While I waited, I took out my phone to check the map. No signal, and I mean nothing. No bars, no Wi-Fi, not even GPS. Just a blank screen with a spinning wheel. I glanced out the foggy window and the storm was still going. But now the wind had picked up, and I could see the power lines swaying like jump ropes in the dark. But the diner stayed perfectly lit, not even a flicker. The food came fast. Too fast, like under 5 minutes, but it looked amazing. Golden bread, gooey cheese, crispy fries with a little metal cup of ketchup on the side. I took a bite. Delicious. I mean, I've eaten at a lot of diners, greasy spoons, college joints, and roadside shacks, but this was hands down the best grilled cheese I've ever had. The fries were perfect, and the coffee never ran out. Every time I took a sip, it was somehow full again. I was halfway through the sandwich when the trucker got up to leave. He walked right past my table, nodded once, and whispered, "Don't stay past midnight." That's all he said. What? But he was already out the door. The waitress gave me a tight smile and walked over, collecting his empty mug. Old Earl, he's always saying weird stuff. Just ignore him. But I couldn't. Something about his voice stuck with me. Something about the way he looked at me. Not like I was a customer, but like I was in danger. I checked the clock over the register. 11:42. I figured I had just enough time to finish my fries, grab the check, and head out. I still had at least 3 hours left on the road. But when I stood up, the lights flickered, just once and then again. And then everything in the diner stopped moving. The couple by the jukebox froze mid-sentence. The woman with the tea stopped stirring, her spoon hanging in mid-air. The waitress, her hand reached out for a mug, just stopped. Like someone hit pause on the entire scene. I took a step back. The jukebox buzzed, glitched, and restarted a new track. I could still move, but no one else could. And then I heard it. Not music, not a storm. A voice. Not coming from anyone I could see. Just a whisper that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. I backed toward the door, my heart hammering in my chest. I turned the knob. Locked. Of course it was locked. I tried the windows, but they were sealed shut. I started banging on the glass and shouting, but no one was outside. Just wind and rain and that flickering red sign. SYCAMRE. I turned back toward the dining room, and everyone was gone. Not frozen anymore, just gone. The booths were empty. No plates, no crumbs, no mugs. No sign that anyone had ever even been there. Except for my plate. Still warm, and still half eaten. And then I saw the waitress. She was standing by the kitchen doors, her silhouette backlit by flickering fluorescent light. Her face was wrong. The same smile, but her eyes were empty, black and endless, like someone had painted over them. "You shouldn't be here, honey," she said in that same cheerful voice. "Not yet." I stumbled back, knocking over a chair as she took one slow step toward me. "The others, they were waiting, but you just wandered in." She raised a hand and the walls began to shimmer. Literally shimmer, like heat waves on asphalt. The checkered floor rippled and the red booths started to fade, becoming outlines and then shadows and then nothing. And then I saw it, underneath the illusion. It was charred wood, cracked tile, broken beams, and black soot, like the diner had burned down long ago. I ran. I don't even remember how I got out. One second I was inside, and the next I was on the side of the road, soaked to the bone and gasping for air. My car was still there, pulled up with the seal and missing, parked on gravel that didn't even look like a lot anymore. Just weeds and puddles. No neon sign. No glowing windows, just nothing. I drove back to campus that night in silence. No music. No Porch Lore podcast. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see that red neon flicker back to life. I didn't tell anyone. Not for weeks. Not until I finally looked up Sycamore Diner on a local history site. And I found it. It burned to the ground in 1972. A gas leak. The whole place went up at midnight, and everyone inside was killed. 5 patrons, a waitress, and a cook. The photo in the article? The same checkerboard floor. The same red booths. The same neon sign. SYCAMORE. And in the corner of the photo, that same waitress, Smiley. I never took that back road again. I don't even drive at night anymore if I can help it. And every time I see a neon diner sign, something in me flinches just a little, because I know I was there, and I know I wasn't supposed to be. But the part that keeps me up sometimes, thank you, Scrolla, the part that really makes my stomach turn, that was the best damn grilled cheese I've ever had, and I didn't even pay for it. And that's the tale of the night shift at Sycamore Diner. Thank you for spending your evening with me, Porch Pals. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the taps tonight. Thank you for the beautiful gifts. Thank you for helping me with my gallery. I love you guys, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I do believe that Lisa is doing her town hall tomorrow, and I think that's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our time. So, that's also happening. Brooke, thanks for the DJ glasses. And Brooke, thanks for the otter. All right, guys. And again, if you have not been able to fall asleep, don't worry. Head on over to my YT channel, where I have an entire playlist of bedtime stories ready for you, and you'll be out by like the second story, I promise. Oh, thank you, Brooke. Love you too, Sherry. Same time, same porch. Good idea, Brain Eater. And don't forget, you guys. Yes, Cody. Aw, you guys, welcome Cody to the new home. We're glad to have you. Aw, Tiffany, I love you too. Thanks, guys. And don't forget, stay spooky.